What's going on, Jets fans? I got some great news for you guys on today's show because Aaron Glenn has me absolutely fired up following his press conference early on today where he talks about the culture, he talks about the roster, and then he also talked about this guy right here, Aaron Rodgers, and what could potentially happen with him being the QB1 for the New York Jets next season. But before we dive into the quotes and dive into Aaron Glenn's press conference here, let's show him some love. Type his initials down below in the comments section. Give me those AGs down below because he has me ready to run through a brick wall after listening to his press conference today. So if you guys want to show him some love, type his initials, AG, down below. All right, let's dive into it. Aaron Glenn, what do you have to say in his press conference today? Well, his first quote actually is the best one, in my opinion. This is what he had to say, saying, "I want this job. Put your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. We're the frickin' New York Jets, and we're built for this." And you see how he ends it. That is just, truly one of the best ways to start a press conference, in my opinion. And clearly, Aaron Glenn, he wanted this job more than any other head coaching candidate. Now, I said originally on a video a couple weeks ago saying, the best argument you can make for Rex Ryan becoming the next Jets head coach is that nobody wants this job more than Rex Ryan. Well, I think I found the guy that does. It's Aaron Glenn. I mean, he was drafted by the New York Jets back in the 90s. I believe he was the 12th or 14th overall pick in that year's draft, but he has over 24 career interceptions with the New York Jets. 6 of those went for pick sixes, and clearly he wants to be here. He wants to change the culture in this organization. He actually talked about how special the Jets are for him personally. This is what he had to say, saying, "This is where I started, and you can't write a better story than that. This was my start for a number of situations, as a player, as a scout, and now as a head coach. And you can't write that story no better than that. Hopefully this will be my last stop." And then Aaron Glenn hopefully will be the New York Jets head coach for a long while. And I remember a quote that Aaron Glenn had a couple of weeks ago on a podcast saying, "Hey, I'm not just a defensive head coach. I am a football coach." And I think that was fully true and fully seen in his first press conference with the New York Jets. It's not like he only talked about defense or kind of favored them, when he was talking about this team. He just treated it like he is the CEO, like he is the man running the show for the New York Jets, and I absolutely loved it. But, obviously a big topic of conversation with the New York Jets is their culture, and can they get back to winning football? Well, Aaron Glenn talked about it. He says, "Rah-rah speeches don't change cultures. People do. I experienced that with Bill Parcells. You bring the right people in with the right mentality, and everybody has a shared vision. You're going to win games." And I fully believe in that. Aaron Glenn was not trying to win the press conference today, which I loved. Because if he got on there and he gave a typical rah-rah speech, saying, "Oh, the Jets are going to change this, we're going to change that, we're going to do all this," those rah-rah speeches only get you so far. But it's about the people you bring in the building and the people you surround yourself with. And he actually did talk about accountability and responsibility. He said accountability starts by making sure everybody on your staff and everybody on your roster has clear responsibilities, and then we can go for there. That's a culture move. That's a culture kind of standard that he is setting with this organization. I absolutely loved what he was saying today. But also, he talked about the roster. And he had this to say, saying, "Me and Darren Mougey, new Jets GM, are going to sit and talk and just go over the whole roster. I will tell you now, that's going to be the answer to a number of questions when it comes to the roster in general. We're looking forward to that process. I can't tell you how long that process will be, but the thing is, we're going to make sure we get the right answer. And we're not going to rush this answer. We're going to get the right answer." And when I was hearing that, I just think of the whole mentality where it's like, hey, we're going to value the process over the results. In terms of this Jets roster, like who the cut, who the trade, who the sign in free agency, they are going to fully deep dive into this and make sure they get the right answer at the end of the day and not try to speed up this process just to get an answer out there. They're going to take their time with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, a guy like Devontae Adams as well. They're going to go through this whole thing and make sure they get the right answer. But I love that. Just speaking about the process over results, actually, Kevin O'Connell, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, in his press conference, he talked about this a whole lot when he was introduced to the Minnesota Vikings, and we saw that play out throughout his first 3 seasons. So hopefully Aaron Glenn will have that same impact on this New York Jets team. But you guys let me know, what do you think on this one? What is your confidence level in Aaron Glenn after hearing this press conference? Scale it for me, 1 to 10 down below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on Aaron Glenn as the next New York Jets head coach. All right, let's talk about the man of the hour, Aaron Rodgers. What's his future looking like with the New York Jets? Are they going to bring him back? Are they going to cut him? Are they going to try to trade him? Well, Aaron Glenn talked about it, and this is what he had to say. He says, Aaron Rodgers will be talked about. It will be talked about. We've already texted and had communication with Rodgers. And as we continue to look at the roster, we will make decisions accordingly. And I love this from Aaron Glenn. He's not just saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers has full control, of this organization. It just sounds like he's not scared of Aaron Rodgers. Like, the past regime with Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett, they were bringing in all of Rodgers' buddies just to make his life easier. And Aaron Glenn, he also said, this is not about Rodgers. This is about the roster. He is not just saying Aaron Rodgers is the end-all, be-all when, or how we're going to evaluate this Jets roster moving forward. But I will say, if I had to make a prediction, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. Just hearing how Aaron Glenn was talking about him today, hearing how Darren Mougey was, just describing the situation, it does make a lot of sense because I don't necessarily think you could find a better bridge quarterback on the open market than a guy like Aaron Rodgers. And even if we look at his contract here, if you guys look at the 2025, the third row down to the right, his cap hit for this season is only $23.5 million, which is not a bad deal. Only takes up 8.6% of the cap. Now, let's just say the Jets do decide to pivot off Rodgers. It would most likely be a post-June 1st cut, which they would save $9.5 million this year. It would add on $14 million of dead cap, But in 2026, this is where the Jets will have to make a decision because it is a void year for Rodgers, but he does have a $63 million cap hit. So I think they will probably try to cut him maybe after this season, and then you save $49 million. But, I guarantee you the Jets are not going to be thrilled having $63 million on the book for a 43-year-old Aaron Rodgers at the time, which takes up 21.7% of the cap. But I'll ask you guys this. Do you want Aaron Rodgers back as QB1? Give me a Y for yes or give me an N for no down below in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers returning as QB1 for the New York Jets. Also, a friendly reminder, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We'll keep you guys posted with everything around the New York Jets. We posted 2 videos today, so hopefully you guys get a video every single day this week. Maybe, sometimes we'll get you 2 videos. But hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and as always, go Jets.